Welcome to the Coaching Coordinator Podcast. I'm your host, Keith Grabowski, and this is our Quick Cast series. What is a Quick Cast? You already know the Coaching Coordinator Podcast for interviews that touch the many areas of the skill set and mindset that makes a successful coach. In our Quick Cast, we focus on a coach's most powerful insight on a single topic. We pull out the most useful, interesting, and helpful ideas into an episode you can consume in 15 minutes or less. It's our up-tempo version of the podcast. With a library of over 1,000 episodes, we have plenty of these nuggets to share with you to help you improve your own mindset and skill set as a coach. Enjoy. We always say defense wins championships, and a key statistic in defensive success in a team's success is the turnover margin. The University of Mount Union football program has been at the top of the Division III level for decades now, and a big part of that is their defensive success. Behind that success for the past 5 years has been Chris Kappas, their defensive coordinator. He now moves on to the FCS level at Austin Peay with new head football coach Scotty Walden. While at Mount Union, Coach Kappas had his defense ranking at the top of most defensive categories during the time he was the defensive coordinator. That earned him the Football Scoop Coordinator of the Year for Division III in 2015. He then went to the offensive side of the ball and led his team to national rankings offensively and was a finalist for the Football Scoop Coordinator of the Year in his first year as the offensive coordinator. This guy can flat out coach. I've always enjoyed talking ball with him. In this segment, he shares his defensive philosophy, and part of that is creating turnovers. Let's take a listen.
So our philosophy would be, number one, we're going to go out and we're going to stop the run no matter who we're playing. If you look at who's been successful, especially at our level in winning our conference and winning the championship, the teams that are left always at the end or win the conference or win the national championship, they're always really, really good on defense, but they're always really, really good at stopping the run, and they're always really, really good at running the football. So we know, especially playing in Northeast Ohio, that to be, get down the stretch in the playoffs, there's going to be some games where you got to, it's going to be snowing or it's going to be windy. Teams aren't going to be able to throw the football as effectively. So stopping the run is our number one starting point, and that's kind of what our defense is designed to run around. From there, number two would be we want to limit big plays. So you're not going to win many games if you're giving up a ton of big plays. Goes along with we got to be able to get more people in the box to stop the run. We got to give up a few short passes or a run breaks through. We got to get it down. We got to get the ball tackled. A big play for us would be defined as a pass play over 25 yards or a run play over 15 yards. So we want to limit those big plays, usually around 3 a game. If you can hold a team to 3 or less big plays a game, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. And then the last thing, doing those things, you got to be able to create turnovers. An interesting statistic, I don't know how it panned out this year, but Mount Union was like, we were 197-0 since 1996 when we win the turnover battle. Creating turnovers. Obviously, our offense is going to try to not get turnovers, but we practice creating turnovers as much as anybody. So those would be the 3 things that are the foundation of our defense: stop the run, limit big plays, and then create turnovers.
To be successful in making big plays on defense and creating turnovers, there has to be some intentionality to it. And that's exactly what Coach Kappas creates as they look at how they evaluate both games and practices, as well as some of the things that they include into each of their practices.
I think that the biggest thing is, obviously you got to be able to catch interceptions. So we do all the ball drills and scooping the ball off the ground to make sure they're practicing scoop and score. But I think the main thing is making our players aware of an opportunity to create a turnover. And that would be maybe a free rusher off the edge on a blitz when the quarterback doesn't see him coming. Instead of just trying to get the sack, create a strip sack, get a chance to fumble. So that, or if a ball carrier doesn't see it coming, he's going to go down if you hit him pretty good. So you have to be able to take that opportunity to create a fumble and, strip the ball out while tackling them. You're going to make the tackle anyway, so you got to be able to use that opportunity to create a turnover. So just making those guys aware of situations when, he doesn't see it coming. What kind of tackle is this going to be right here? Just point it out in film. Oh, strip tackle. Our guys would say that. So, and what we do in terms of our practice, when we're grading practice or grading the games, if a guy misses an opportunity to create a turnover, they're getting negative points. So they might have made the solo tackle, and got 2 points on the point chart. But if they missed an opportunity to create a turnover on that tackle, they're getting -3 points. So the actual play, they're getting minus points on the play for failing to create a turnover. So that kind of gets in their head. Some guys are pretty tuned into that point chart stuff. But I think just practicing those situations, so we'll do a drill with guys running the ring and a quarterback standing there on his blind side with one of those big crayon looking things on his arm. So we're going to come in, tap the hip with one arm, tomahawk chop the passing arm with the outside arm, and then the quarterback will roll the ball out, and we got a scoop and score there. Or we'll practice a ball carrier coming through a couple bag, kind of not see the tackler coming. Guys got to go over and strip the ball out as he's coming through the hole, just kind of trying to simulate an opportunity to create a turnover there when the ball carrier doesn't see it coming. So those would be the main drills that we're doing there, and then obviously the secondary guys and everybody catches the football, but creating some awkward situations to go up and get the football, whether that's jumping over top of a pop-up dummy to catch a football or diving onto a pad to catch a football. If you practice making those great plays and interceptions, then I think, you put yourself in a position to have a chance to make those plays in the game too.
Coaching the details, especially when it comes to technique, is what helps make your defenders successful on the field. Coach Kappas talks about the exact technique that they use and they teach with the strip tackle.
I mean, it's really, you have to make initial contact with the football, and it's got to be violent. So when we're doing those strip tackle drills, it's a tailback carrying the football, you have to punch down hard through the football, and then, very, very violently. And first contact has got to be on the ball. It's not grabbing with one arm and then punching. We want that first contact with the football, and then trying to wrap him up, and if you got your guys tuned in to everybody hustling to the football and pursuing the football, we're not worried about necessarily scooping the ball up as the guy that stripped the football. So you have to secure the tackle and really tie the ball carrier up after you get the ball. After you get the ball fumbled, it's usually that ball carrier gets the ball back. If the ball falls at his feet, that guy's getting that ball back up most of the time. So we got to get him down, but get him restrained so he can't get that ball back. It's really not a technical technique that we're teaching. It's just got to be a violent punch on the ball first, and then getting the guy wrapped up so he can't recover that fumble himself.
The last part of this equation falls on the coach. Coach Kappas talks about exactly how he looks to create turnovers in big plays in the situations that present themselves in film study and throughout a game.
Obviously third down is when you want to be able to dial some stuff up and attack protections. But I think the first thing I'm always looking for would be when a team is going to use play action passes. That kind of gives you an extra second to get to the quarterback. So I'm really, really intently studying, is it after a big play, or is it on second and short, or is it after a first down? They're going to come out and use play action pass. I'm always trying to find a pressure to kind of dial up to get a guy cut free on a play action, because protections sometimes get a little bit messed up when those guys are trying to, the O-linemen or short setting a little bit more to give a little bit more of a look of run, or the running back's trying to take a fake. So that's usually the first thing I'm looking for in terms of taking an opportunity to get to the quarterback. then back to third down, we're gonna, obviously we want to get people into third and long, 3rd and 7+ as much as possible. Really have a good key on how their screens are set up if they're running a lot of screens in those down and distances, and then just really trying to attack the protections, get our best matchups with our best D linemen or blitzers on backs, or if we could get a guy cut free, then certainly try to do that as well.
Thanks again to Coach Kappas for sharing his ideas on how they create turnovers and big plays on defense. Keep tuning into the Coach and Coordinator podcast for new episodes and new guests coming up here in the month of November. Check out ihsfca.coachesclinic.com for the first virtual clinic of the offseason. They have a great lineup with Mike Loxley of Maryland and Pat Fitzgerald of Northwestern headlining, as well as some great college and high school coaches from Illinois and around the country. Again, check it out at ihsfca.coachesclinic.com. Go to coachandcoordinator.com, our new home for the podcast, and check out some of the content we have there, as well as a place to find show notes and links. Follow me on Twitter.